Hey Roberto, how are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Josephine?
Yeah, I'm all right. I see you even have like a Storyblok cap. That's so cool. I need one of these.
Yes.
The merch. Nice, nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm super
welcome.
fan of the hat, so yeah, I
Yeah.
collect them.
Oh, that's nice. Good fit for you then. How many do you have? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
I
I
yeah,
don't know. It means so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would say the same if I had too much of something. That's nice. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on our Code and Chill. It's number 10, and today we're talking about Svelte, a topic that's very important to Roberto and me. And yeah, we're really excited. It's the last round for this year for Code and Chill. So thanks everybody for joining. We're really excited to be here. And yeah, all things Svelte, right, Roberto? Um,
Yes.
do you remember when you first started with Svelte or SvelteKit, and how did that happen?
Yeah, I started with Svelte, so not using SvelteKit at the very beginning.
Right.
It was very nice because coming from a React or a Vue, it was very simple. Rather than the other technology. So I was super happy about that. Then I jumped into the SvelteKit, and I remember some fun fact because before to release the SvelteKit 1 year ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was so much enthusiastic that I tried SvelteKit before to be released as a stable release, and I remember
Yeah.
that they change a lot the
Yeah.
APIs before to go stable. So I
Yeah.
remember that I already prepared some articles about SvelteKit, but I need to change quickly everything because at the end they change the APIs before to go to a
Wow.
stable release, right? So,
Yeah, I
but yeah,
remember. Yeah, the
yeah,
pain.
you remember.
I think a lot of people in the Svelte community or SvelteKit community have felt that. Also preparing talks for conferences, preparing documentation, right? I feel like we've all gone through that if we've stuck around with
Yeah,
SvelteKit for that amount of time. So it's good that you did try and update everything.
yeah.
So that's nice.
But I can say one another thing that last week or 2 weeks ago they
Mm-hmm.
released SvelteKit 2. No
Mm-hmm.
breaking changes this time, so everything is nice to upgrade from SvelteKit 1 to SvelteKit 2. They provide also, the team of SvelteKit provide also a command to upgrade
Yeah.
automatically your project from SvelteKit 1 to SvelteKit 2. So yeah, I think that is a good opportunity to try SvelteKit 2. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like it's so nice that last year they released it like right before Christmas. And this year again, so I feel like somebody there is like a Christmas elf or something. It's like, let's deliver a gift for the community. We do it for Christmas. And it can go either way. Either you're really happy or you're sitting there on your holiday, like trying to fix all the breaking changes. So this can really go either way.
Yeah,
No,
but
that's really
it is
nice.
part of our job, right?
Totally. Never stop learning, right? No, totally. I remember when I first, when I started at Storyblok 2 years ago, we had already experts for the technologies that I used to work with. We had people working with React and Next.js. And so our boss at the time was kind of like, yeah, Josephine, you kind of need like to learn a new technology just because you need your niche. And I was like, well, okay, what do I pick? So many options, right? And I was just like looking around for the latest thing, and I stumbled across SvelteKit, and I was like, wow, this looks really interesting. And I saw that they're kind of like accessibility first. They're like very they
Yeah.
care about accessibility. They have all these like linters and warnings if you do something wrong. And I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Yes.
And that's the only reason I ever got started. I was so hyped with the accessibility stuff. And it's stuck around, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
No,
yes. One of the best feature of Svelte and SvelteKit is about the accessibility. Yes, support you while you are developing. So yeah, it is very, very nice. Totally
yeah.
agree with you.
And what you mentioned as well with it's simple, like in my head, it always sounds bad, but it's not bad at all, right? It's the best possible thing if you switch from a different framework. Maybe even your amount of code is reduced drastically.
Yeah.
And I was in all the time coming from React, I was like, where's the catch? Like, where's the bad thing? And I haven't found it yet. So I'm still a fan, you could say.
Yeah, because I think that the learning curve is easier to Svelte rather than React or other technology. But yeah, it is something that is a personal opinion, let me say, right?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a common opinion to say that Svelte is easier, right?
No, I really like it about that. I don't think we have to always work with the hardest thing, right? So no, it's fine. And I feel like also the combination of Storyblok and SvelteKit, which is kind of all we want to talk about today, it somehow makes sense, right? The whole like component approach and having like really small blocks, if you will, it kind of all makes a lot of sense. And
Yes.
what we've been working on a lot is the ultimate tutorial for SvelteKit and maintaining the SDK. I don't know if anybody who's joined us live has used it, has tried it, has submitted issues that we haven't resolved. Don't call us out. No, I'm joking. We're trying our best. But I would be super curious if you have tried it. Let us know what you think, and you can maybe put it in the chat. But that's one of the many things that we're really busy with on a day-to-day, right? To try and make sure it's really works.
I'm going to copy and paste the URL so in the chat, right? So let me do this. Okay.
Amazing.
Copy and paste. Okay, so much Windows, but yeah. I can do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Exactly. That's the ultimate tutorial. And basically we have this for all the different technologies and they have different parts. So first you get kind of guided through how setting up Storyblok with SvelteKit. It's really, really fast. I feel like we had another stream before where we timed different people trying to set it up and it was a matter of seconds. So that was really fun. Then you learn how to render Storyblok stories dynamically, create a dynamic menu, create your own components, render blog articles. And the last series that we created was about multilingual language support, actually.
Yes, exactly. I'm so proud. So I want to share my screen just to comment a little bit about this new article about the multi-language, because a lot of developer and user ask us how to implement multi-language project with SvelteKit and Storyblok, right? So I'm going to share the screen just to show. Okay. Just to show the article, this is the part 6 of the ultimate tutorial, is correct? And yes, we cover the multilingual content with the Storyblok and SvelteKit. And if you want to learn more, you can read, you can see all the requirements. For example, you can see how to add language into Storyblok, because before to implement a multi-language part in your Svelte, you need to set up in a proper way your space in Storyblok, right? So in this case, you can set up your languages, because with Storyblok you can activate more than one language, and then you can create your content in multi-language. So it means that you can create your pages, stories, you can add component, and then you can start translating the text, the images, and so on. All the content you can start to translate accordingly with the language that you already set up. this part is on Storyblok side, and then as you can see here in the article, we are trying to cover all the parts and in a progressive way try to guide the developer to set up correctly all the stuff, and then after that we are going to jump into the code, and essentially we are using the basic functionalities from SvelteKit, because at the end we use the URL, the path, to identify the story to be retrieved and the languages. Because, you know, sometimes typically in the path you have the first part identify the language, and the second part identify the page. For example, /en/home, right? So the first part determines the language. So with this kind of information, you can retrieve the proper language and then the slug of the story. So the second part. So in this article, we try to cover all of this part, providing some insights, some information, some suggestions, and then in order to have a multi-language project. What do you think, Josefine?
Yeah, I love it. I'm really happy. That's our Christmas gift. So this is what we give the community this year before the year ends. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. It took some time, true, because conference season and life kept us really busy behind the scenes, but now we got it. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, because I think that today is quite standard to have a project with more than one language, right? So localization, translation, and so on. So is typically part of the process when you are going to build the project. Probably when you start the project, probably you need to deliver just one language. It is fine, but I think that more of the project they need to be translated in multi-language. So in this case, you can take a look about this article. I know that you already shared the URL in the chat, so it's fine. And
when looking into, I think there's also a package for a SvelteKit, I18N package or something. That's kind of the out of the box, the Svelte way to do internationalization if you're not working with a CMS. But we try to do it kind of as simple or as straightforward as possible without any additional packages, also to kind of not add onto your page's performance and your load, so that this would be as as slim as possible, so to say.
Yeah, good point. You cover a good point, because yes, at the end you can add some libraries to manage the multi-language, but the goal of this article is to understand how, under the hood, how it works, right? So is the reason why we decided to not to use some nice libraries, but you can take a look about this article, and then you can decide to add some libraries to make the life simpler, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, our tutorials, they always cover kind of the tutorial side of things, right? So it's relatively small scale. It's a kind of replica of the real world. We're trying to cover all the cases that are relevant for people working with this in real life scenarios. But at the end of the day, it is a tutorial. So
So now I can stop sharing my screen, right? Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I was hinting at the real world because we're actually super lucky. We have 2 guests today. We're really excited to have them here. And we want to bring them on to see if they maybe can share some part of the real world examples that we can only replicate in tutorials. So if we could get you 2 to join us, we'd be really excited. Nice. Amazing. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
So we have Francisco
nice to be here.
And Ricardo joining us from Significa. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Do you maybe want to introduce yourselves a little bit? Because you know yourself best. What do you do?
Okay, I'm Ricardo. I work in Significa for around a year and a half, and I'm a front-end developer.
Amazing.
I started work with Svelte since the beginning of this year, and the experience was pretty good.
Nice, nice. And how about you, Francisco?
Hello, I'm Francisco. I work at Significa for a little bit more than 3 years, and I'm here more in a management position of the development team. Significa is a product development agency. So what we do is we deliver many products across different areas. So we don't choose just one, like e-commerce or websites. We try to do more like full-fledged products, but we focused a lot in the design experience. So in UX, and you can see our portfolio, the designs are like stellar. So we focus on that, and we try to deliver like really good products. And we use Storyblok as part of most of our products, actually.
Oh wow! Yeah,
So that's
nice.
why we are partner. We are a
That's
small
cool.
agency, by the way.
Yeah.
And we try to create like agile development, not agile in terms of the word, but being like delivering fast products and early stage MVPs and proof of concepts for both startups and big corporates. So
wow, that's really cool. I feel like that really goes hand in hand with like everything that Svelte is as well, right? Because you're really focused on like data visualization, scrolly telling, like all animations, all the good stuff. Is that kind of what you try to do in your day-to-day as well?
Also a little bit.
Yeah, that's so cool. And do you have like, what's the project that you're most proud of, if you are allowed to say?
Well, for me, the most project was the last one, because was the project that I totally used Svelte and SvelteKit, and I was very happy with the result, which is a small store here in Portugal which sells notebooks, called Mishmash.
Yeah, have a look. It's nice. Really nice looking.
Okay.
And that was done with using Svelte and also Storyblok. So
okay, we'll have a
maybe
look.
I'll say the one that I'm most proud of. We've done a health app and application for both tracking women's health for fertility purposes, and we also done like a video consultation for the same organization. It's like a multinational of fertility services in Europe, and we've used Svelte for the website and for the app. So not Svelte, Storyblok. It was not yet at the time of Svelte. So Significa started using Svelte in production roughly 1 year and a few months ago. So and we've been adopting Svelte for most of our new production projects. So we already have Svelte in production in multiple projects.
Yeah, how was the experience? If you say you started a year and a few months ago, you also ran into some of the breaking changes, I assume?
I think compare. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, talking like in a very high level in terms of technology. So comparing to the community over on Next and React, that's what we were most proficient on. So Next.js and obviously the React framework, I think they have bigger issues in terms of maintaining coherent versions and non-breaking changes. So the community over the React and Next is at the moment more separated than the one at Svelte. So we believe that although we've encountered changes and things that evolve, we have a more like stable foundation using Svelte. This is from like a more let's say management position, or like high level in terms of development, without having to know exactly what is changing over on Svelte low level. Yeah, Ricardo.
Yeah, that's it.
Not to say that we don't like Next, and because we've actually become really good at it, and it was what we were doing the best, was React and Next, but we decided to embrace Svelte, also because some of the things that you've already mentioned in the beginning of the live stream, Roberto and Josefine, for example, being easy to start, having like the learning curve is quite easy for new people, the boilerplate is smaller, and the developer happiness has been like amazing. So that's also a reason why we are adopting for new projects Svelte.
Yeah, that's such
for
a
me,
big
for me
topic.
the
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. For me, the boilerplate is the major part of which Svelte is great. Totally.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm working on a project with React, and I felt a lot of difference between the two stacks.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a time for everything and a community for everything, and we're the last ones to like bash any framework, right? Like all the communities are great, and I don't want to, like, for me, it was also much easier to learn Svelte than React for sure, but I feel like there's no competition, right? There's a use case for everything. But what you said about the developer experience, that's such a big topic, and it feels like they really care about it. They care about, like, for example, this, oh my God, English words today, but the learning journey that you go through on their website when you, of course, you have the docs, but you can also explore and play around and try things like in real time. And that's so cool as a developer to just be like, okay, I want to give it a shot. But I don't want to set up anything. I don't want to bother. I can just go here and learn, right? So that's really nice.
Yeah. One thing that sorry Roberto, that I wanted to mention is also because Svelte is still in the beginning. Obviously, the community is more uniform, so that's normal with the more niche technologies. Is that things are still yet in like more coherent, and obviously over the years when the technology develops, things start to fragment a little bit more. So there's different people and different communities doing it differently within the same language or framework or whatever. For example, we also use Elixir. That's a niche technology that we use here. And we also feel the same. It's not that because it's best, it's more coherent because it's smaller. It's still, although it's not in the beginning, when the technology grows a lot, it is more fragmented. Not that it's good or bad. It means that there are more opinions online. There are different ways of doing it. And for example, for a more junior person, that might be more challenging, let's say. Not that one is better than the other. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's good if multiple roads lead to Rome, I guess, but it's not. It's really difficult if you see all these opinions on Stack Overflow, and you're like, "But how am I gonna, like, how do I know what to do?" So that's absolutely valid. And I also felt that I don't know if you went to Svelte Summit, the one in person that was in Sweden. I was super lucky to go, and it felt everybody was so excited because it was the first time ever the community met in such a large scale in person, and the energy was just like, so everybody was so welcoming. It was the nicest conference I ever went to. It was like such a big family gathering basically because it was still so fresh, right? And so like it's different people doing different things, but they care about getting together, and that was really, really nice for sure. Yeah. By the way, did you build your homepage also with SvelteKit?
Yeah, so Significa.co is our website, and it was built all using Svelte and Storyblok, by the way, not sponsored at the time. We just chose it because that's what we decided. And we actually are source available, so meaning that our website is fully free to look into the source. It's on GitHub. I will call it open source, but obviously the contributions are like chosen by us, meaning that we do not expect people to openly contribute to our website unless it's going to fix something or improving it on our way, meaning that the roadmap is internal, but the source is available, and you can have a look at our GitHub, github.com/Significa.
Oh, that's cool. So people can go poke around and see if they have any suggestions. That's funny. Nice.
Yeah, I'm curious. I have a question for you because last week or last 2 weeks they released SvelteKit 2. I want to listen your opinion about the adoption of this. So if you are going to plan to use SvelteKit 2 for the next project, or you are planning to migrate to upgrade some existing project to SvelteKit 2, or which is your approach in this case?
Okay, maybe I'll start. So SvelteKit 2, as far as I know, it requires a minimum of Svelte 4, which most of our projects are already has Svelte 4, and the main features of our breaking changes, I think that's not many. So I think there is not a real problem when upgrading SvelteKit. So I'd say yes, there's probably, if we are working on the project, I think it makes sense to upgrade.
Okay, so you are, let me say, you are quite ready to start a new project. For example, the next project you can evaluate to start with SvelteKit 2 instead of SvelteKit 1.
Yes.
Okay, good. No, I'm curious because I want to listen the opinion from someone that create code that run in production, right? So because yeah,
maybe. Sorry. Maybe I can. Well, I didn't saw the fully release notes, so I can guarantee my issues. But I really think that there is not a real problem about it. And also when everything is coming to Svelte 5, and most probably in the future when Svelte 5 will be fully released, SvelteKit maybe is mandatory to have the version 2 of SvelteKit.
Exactly. Yes, because they released SvelteKit 2 mainly to prepare the road for Svelte 5 for the next year. So there is not so much breaking changes, a couple of, but you can solve about that with the command that they release to upgrade SvelteKit. So with a command you can upgrade. So no pain, let me say, in upgrading stuff, but yeah, I'm curious about the adoption for SvelteKit 2. And I am more curious to see the adoption for Svelte 5 because there will be a lot of changes, for example, about their activity with the new system rules and some other stuff. Probably more enterprise, let me say, enterprise ready. But yeah, we will see the adoption about that. And yeah, regarding the comment that Francisco did before about the cohesion of the community. Probably in the next year we will see someone that it will be agree with Svelte 5. Someone else want to stay with Svelte 4. So probably we will see some changes in the next year. But yeah.
Yeah, they're going to keep us busy, right? They're going to make us keep our jobs.
Yeah. Exactly.
There was a time. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Francisco.
I just wanted to say another thing that is in the front end, we see that technologies evolve very fast, and we always try to create new projects with the latest versions. Even, for example, we've even created projects with the latest 13 version of Next, because we know that the technologies have a lifespan, and usually, like when you grab a project from like 3 years ago or something, the older it is the project and the technology that it was chosen at the time, the harder it will be to maintain. And so we always, like when creating new projects, we think we'll investigate and see, let's try to use the new version so it will probably last longer. That's obviously not always right, but usually the latest you use the technology, so the most recent technology you use, it will probably last longer and be more easy to maintain, and also to find developers that are happy to use it, because that's also one of the problems, is that even if you have like a 10-year-old technology that might work okay, and like for example PHP works very well, but you won't find developers like within the company, for example, to go and maintain an old project. So in terms of developer happiness, we always consider using the latest versions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And also it's so interesting because back, I don't know, 2 years back there, when I was looking around, there were not really like a lot of job openings or talking to people. They were all like, yeah, I'm super, like, I really want to work with SvelteKit. It's like the new kid on the block, but where do I work, basically, right? Like, and then now everybody I talk to is like, oh yeah, we're only hiring for Svelte. And it's like, it's just so interesting how that can shift so quickly. And of course, I mean, if you look at the developer surveys and everything, there's always a mismatch between what people are curious about and what they end up having to work with on some jobs. But if as a company, you can say like, hey, you get to try the new like funky stuff and work on really cool projects, you're going to get the people who are really passionate about their work, right? So that's a big plus in my opinion.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. No, sorry, Roberto, you looked like you were going to say something, so I was like, no.
No. I was thinking about all these kind of changes, and we have changes in our SDK, so changing the topic. Because last week we released a nice functionalities from Storyblok side, where we are allowing to use different region. You can, when you set up your spaces in the Storyblok, you can choose from European region where your data are located, or US. But with the new changes, you can select also Canadian region and or Australian region. For this reason, we are going to release this week the new version of the Svelte SDK for Storyblok. So if you want to use Svelte and SvelteKit and you need to integrate Storyblok, you have two options. One, integrate directly the APIs that we provide, the content delivery API, or using our SDK. So in the case you are going to use our SDK, we are going to release the version 4 of our SDKs with the region functionalities, with the support of SvelteKit 2, because we mentioned a little bit about SvelteKit 2, and we upgraded also for using the build with Vite 5. So we have some fresh stuff to release this week, me and Josefine, right?
Yeah, still some to-dos before Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm curious, and I want to ask if you, when you build your project and you need to integrate with Storyblok, if you prefer to integrate directly the APIs, so performing some API call directly from your Svelte code, or are you using the SDK, the Storyblok SDK, when you need to integrate, obviously, Storyblok?
Yeah, we are using the not Svelte package, Storyblok package. So we are using the JavaScript, the Storyblok JS package, and not the Svelte. Well, I think some projects have the Svelte package, but others don't. Because many things we do in the code is a bit well, how do I say? We have, for example, we have a dynamic block just like how we want to do, and so we don't use the Storyblok Svelte package for that.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yes, Yeah, this is another option, just to use the JS client that simplify the integration with our APIs. But yeah, you can do. And at the end, JS client is a dependency for Storyblok Svelte SDK. So at the end, instead of using the top level SDKs, you are using the low level SDK, but it is totally fine.
It's really interesting though, right? Because like, I don't know, like in my head, I was always thinking like, well, we made the SDK, might as well people just use it. But of course, in the real life, there's so many cases where it doesn't make sense, or it makes more sense to go the other way.
Well,
right?
it's sometimes it makes sense for us to use the more simple version, so that we can have more control over it. And I think that's what happens here. We use the more basic one, and then we do what we really want, and we know what we are doing.
Yeah,
makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, reduce the magic.
Yeah.
or doing again the magic.
Yeah, do the magic yourself so that you know what's in the back. Yeah. Cool. That's so nice. Is there anything you're looking forward to in the new year? Like any cool projects lined up, or anything that you want to try but you haven't gotten a chance to? Any other technologies?
As I said before, I'm currently in a React project, which is a very cool project. I think it's very cool because it's like a mimic of a Shopify.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it has some talent and it's very cool. But I miss Svelte. And this project is React. I miss Svelte, but yeah, I am very optimistic about it.
Yeah. How about you, Francisco? Are you excited about anything coming in the new year? Any cool projects lined up?
I don't know. We have some projects here at Significa, but obviously we are very keen to see what the community on the open source does. One thing that I want to mention before going to that is, for example, with Mishmash or Hey Harper, that's another project we've done here. We actually use a website using Svelte, Storyblok to manage content, and the Shopify as like the backend for a shop. So we've done multiple projects where we've basically built a storefront using Svelte, and our backends, let's say, are Shopify and Storyblok. So it's quite interesting that communication and then the syncing between the two. But overall, the experience has been like very good. We've been able to, for example, that Mishmash site that is on the comments is then this very strange way and this stack of technologies. And we don't know if there are more people doing this, but we've been enjoying a lot using these three things together. We obviously, Ricardo was mentioning about the another alternatives to Shopify, but currently our clients that already use Shopify, it's easier to convince them to just create a new storefront and use Storyblok on top than to change entirely the e-commerce system. So that's a thing we've been also considering, is other alternatives to Shopify, but Shopify is the king at this moment in the e-commerce world, and we try to support it many times. We've done it also projects without it, but mostly on the latest projects we've been using it. So it's a interesting like mishmash of technologies. Now about new technologies, yes, obviously the new version. We also want to see what happens over the next world, over on the React and Next world, see if it solidifies a little bit more. But we will continue with Svelte and with the latest versions. At least that's what we are focusing on or we are believing right now, but we never know. Things might change, and we are actually pretty flexible on our side in terms of if something feels better, let's try it, and we'll then do an experiment. And if we don't like it, we drop it. We've done this in the past, trying a new technology, and then maybe we don't like that much, or developers don't like that much, or the speed is not what you would like to achieve, and we just drop it. And I think that the community overall has been doing this a lot on the front end. That's why you see rises in popularity in a certain project, and then it just goes dark, and there's a new kid on the block, right? So it's just keep on like evolving and keep on trying to solve the problems and avoiding the new solutions, like raising the old problems that we had a few years ago, because that's what usually happens.
Yeah, that's very well said. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a nice outlook, though. I mean, we can all learn from our past mistakes, try to learn from what happened in the community before, rather than doing the same thing with a new shiny tool, right? So, no, I really like that. And I also really like the combination of Shopify and Storyblok, because I feel like that's coming up more and more. We're trying to like fill the gaps in the documentation there, because that's such a popular and well working, from my perspective, solution. So that's really cool to hear that you're enjoying that so far. That's so nice. Roberto, do you have anything you're looking forward in the new year?
Yes, a lot. No, but about the combination of Storyblok and the commerce part is pretty common in the composable architecture to pick the right tool for for solving the challenge, right? Because at the end you can use Storyblok for the CMS part for managing the content, and then you can use the commerce part for managing the catalog of the product, of the service, for selling the product and the service, and so on. And maybe you can grow up, and then you can, for example, if the searching capabilities provided by the e-commerce platform or the CMS platform, you can add some search engine, for example. So in the composable architecture, you can add more components in your system, in your ecosystem, right? And so in this case, the integration play a relevant role, because you need to consume different APIs, different source, and so on, right? So the next year, yes, I will take a look for sure about Svelte 5, because I'm pretty curious about the adoption, because technically I think is a nice thing from the technical perspective, in my opinion. But yeah, you have to see the adoption, right? Because if you create a nice product and then nobody want to use it, probably it is a kind of mistake. But yeah, at the end, I will take a look about Svelte 5, and I am also a backend person, right? So I'm not much involved so in the front end. So I will take a look about some backend technologies, and my goal the next year is to integrate with the artificial intelligence, because we have a lot of service that provide and boost the productivity, the content management. So also in Storyblok, we are experimenting some AI capabilities for improving the process, for creating the content, for maintaining the content, and so on. So probably, but again, at the end, you are not reinventing the wheel. As a front-end developer, we are trying to use and consume some service, right? So yeah, it will be a nice year about the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's really interesting. And maybe, I don't know, like I have a feeling this quiet time at the end of the year is never truly quiet, because if you have a little bit like of puffer time, then you go explore, you go down a rabbit hole, and you're like, oh, I had no idea this was happening. Let me read all about it. And oh, there's a YouTube video. So yeah, I feel I feel like this is also time to dive into all the cool stuff that might be coming in the new year. Really exciting. thank you so much for joining us, Ricardo and Francisco. We were really excited to have you two on and to learn about your projects and what you're working on. I will definitely follow closely what's happening next. It's really, really cool. And it's already kind of time for us to say goodbye to our guests. Oh, we can quickly, before you go, share the GitHub in our chat as well with the audience so that you can come and maybe file some bugs if you manage to find any. That's the challenge here. No, but we really appreciate you joining, and we learned a lot from what it's like to use Svelte and Storyblok in the real world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice being here, and thank you for the invite.
Yeah, of course, anytime. Amazing. So we can take our guests backstage. Yeah, and now it's just us. I think it's the last stream of the year. We can slowly wrap things up. We just wanted to announce that you can apply for the ambassadors program. Before I forget, we should definitely bring that one up. So if you haven't applied already, now is the time. It's an amazing group of people. You can join, you can learn from the other ambassadors, you can share your contributions, you can gather more knowledge of Storyblok if you're already actively using it. There's so many amazing benefits of being part of the program. We would be super excited to have you. And this is the link to apply. So just before I forget. And then next year, the stream will continue, the Code and Chill, but I'm not sure if there are any dates already set. But if you follow us on Twitch, exactly. Oh my God. It's truly like this is coordinated. If you follow us, you will keep posted with everything coming up. We also have new episodes of Girl Code Coffee Chat. The next one is at the end of January, and there's going to be more community chat. So there's going to be a lot. So watch out for us. We're coming back in 2024. And with that, we're really happy you joined us for almost an hour of Storyblok and SvelteKit. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a blast, and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.